to fight, but you've got to give it a try. You've got to want to deny the enemy. And we win, we win, we win, we win, and we win. We win, we win, we win, we win, and we win.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Mike Squires. I got my good friend Dave Curtis from Jet City Music here in my home. We've rearranged it to give a little demo of my guitars and my touring rig for Loaded. I play guitar in Duff McKagan's Loaded. Yeah, it's a little home invasion, and bear with us. I live near some radio towers, so I get some pretty silly public radio signals through basically everything. My fillings, it comes through everything. So keep in mind that doesn't happen normally. So here we go. So I'll go through my guitars first. My main guitar is the Yamaha SG 1820. It's amazing. Nice thick mahogany body, carved top, 2 humbuckers. It's just kind of a rock machine. It's proved itself over the course of the last year to be basically bulletproof. And I've never broken a string on it. It sounds good every night. We do a lot of flying gigs. I've never had any problem with it. So far, fingers crossed. The neck is as strong as hell, and I'm kind of a beast, and I wrestle my guitar, so this thing's worked out really well for me. I got another one on the way, and pretty soon I'm only going to tour 2 SGs, so I'm stoked about that. Until I get that, my current backup is the Gibson Les Paul Custom. I got this 3 years ago. It's a beautiful, amazing guitar. It's been really good to me. I did go through 3 guitars to get it, which was a pain in the butt, but sometimes finding the right guitar is hard. So, this is my old main guitar. Played this for years and years and years with a number of different bands. I played this with Nevada Bachelors, I played it with Harvey Danger and Alien Crime Syndicate, and it is battle scarred. You can see, when I talk about wrestling the guitar, you can see I've had to replace the strap pins 3 or 4 times. It's kind of, that's how I treat my guitars, I guess. This thing, you know, it's got on the back of the neck, it's got some dings. Down here, smashing cymbals. You know, sometimes playing with Harvey Danger, we'd get some, I'd use it as a shield to block the things that the, you know, stained fans were throwing at us. I've used this guitar in every recording that I've made since I bought it. It's the best sounding guitar I've ever owned. And I'll probably never tour it again because I'm afraid of losing it or having it broken or stolen. It's certainly not my most valuable guitar financially, but I have a lot of sentimental worth. This has a lot of value to me. Saul also built me this guitar. He's got a full custom shop that he builds guitars down in Portland, Oregon. And he built me this, looks like a Telecaster, but it's got a set neck. It's all mahogany. It's got an angled headstock like a Gibson. It's Gibson scale. It's got 2 Rio Grande P90s and a Bigsby. So basically it's a kind of a Les Paul Jr. dressed up as a Telecaster. Also sounds amazing. Used it on some of the last record for recording on the mellower stuff, and I used it on the song Indian Summer, a sort of shimmery guitar part that you hear in the chorus and at the beginning. That's me wang barring on the Bigsby. My Normandy, Jim Normandy is a rad guy who lives down in Salem, Oregon. He does a lot of cool community stuff, and he's just a really cool dude. He builds these aluminum guitars. He's actually got a couple new ones that look like Tellys, and one that looks like a Flying V that's just like ridiculous and off the hook. If you can imagine like a chrome Flying V, it's like, whoa. But this thing is an absolute rock machine, and he has a custom shop down in Salem. I played this guitar when we toured on Sick and on our first EP, and you can see it. We recorded a live DVD. I played it on there, and it's amazing. This is another it's traditional construction, but it's a semi-hollow body guitar. Those are the only two semi-hollows that I own, but I love them. Also, Bigsby. This has got a pretty amazingly wide range of pickup configurations. This runs like a standard three-way, and this runs the middle pickup and runs it at a phase, and it's kind of a cuckoo bear thing. It's a Troy Van Leeuwen signature model that Yamaha made for him. Pretty rad. Also rocks. I never thought in a million years that I would be using rack gear. You know, to me, it just seemed like a thing that 80s dudes did, and it seemed passé and ridiculous. But fast forward, 20 years, and here I am, and I actually couldn't be happier. So I have a 50-foot loom that runs back to my stuff. It sits in a road case, and I mean, what I would say to anyone who is like, yeah, rack gear, that's ridiculous. Well, you know what? I mean, we fly these things a lot of times, and I could put a head in a rack case and fly that. But this thing, I mean, sometimes sitting up on top of a cab like this is just for display, but sometimes it's an eyesore to see all that stuff. But I can set it back behind my cabinets, and if I'm running two cabinets, it sits back there. And over the years, I just sort of figured out how to make things fast. Like anyone who's ever played a gig, like, oh, okay, we're playing Thursday night at the fill in the blank, it's like, well, you don't get a sound check and your stuff's not backlined, you're playing the middle slot or whatever. Hey, you have a 15-minute changeover, make it count. And so I kind of have my whole thing dialed in, and I recommend this to anyone. So I've got a 50-foot loom, which is essentially, all that means is this like mesh tube, and you feed your cables through it, and it's a real pain in the ass, but you do it once, and with any luck, your cables don't fail you. Use good cables. Make it count. What this does is simplifies my whole setup process. I run this from my amp out to my pedal board, and it's done. Like, I'm not, at the end of the night, I'm not rolling up 5 cables, I'm rolling up 1. And my pedal board and the loom fit into my pedal board case, which is amazing as well. So, boom, 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 plug it in there, boom, 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 plug it in here, and I'm set. So, the amp that I use is the Engel, it's the 530 Modern Rock preamp, and the 50 watts a side tube power amp. And it's a pretty lethal combination. On tour I use the Fireball, and the Fireball is amazing as well. I'm actually gonna get one. The foot controller that I use is, this thing, I actually accidentally came home with it. It's actually for the Fireball, and you can see I've got it labeled, no, do not touch this. Sometimes you have to make things real simple for yourself. In the moment you'd be like, I'm just gonna run out, I gotta hit that pedal, or at least me, I'm pretty simple. So I'm like, I gotta go stomp on that pedal. No, don't hit this one. Boost. So I ran the Fireball so that it was just like my crunchy, I don't have a clean sound in Loaded, so I just had my crunchy, gnarly, overdriven sound on one side, high gain, and then the other side was like uber crazy gain. And I have independent volume, so I use the other side for a lead boost. Sometimes that's not necessary, like, you know, if you're out and you have your sound man, it's like, he knows all your cues and he's gonna hook you up proper, he's gonna make you sound right, he's gonna boost the leads, he's gonna boost the vocals when they have to be boosted. But in a situation where you're using a house guy, having a lead boost is real nice. I think it's a pretty popular thing these days, a clean boost. So, like I said, I don't use a clean signal. So this switcher is not, for my purposes, not super effective with my preamp, but I'm using it today anyway. Actually, I just plugged it in for the first time while Dave was here with me. So let's go through it. Pardon the noise here. Here comes the public radio. So the 95Q has a boost in it. Pretty killer. And I take it off and it's done, which is nice. This Q zone I use at the beginning of a song called Your Name. It's pretty rad. It gives that real nasal, honky sound, and sometimes I'll just hit it when I'm just like spirited and want my guitar to sound kind of ugly in the part when I get when the sound kind of ugly. Basically, like overdrive, if I need to have a little more gain, like I said, I've got plenty of gain in my angle, but if I want to kick it up a notch, if I want to get uglier, if I want to get some crazy feedback on stage, which sometimes I'll just run back to my amp and just be like, whoa, look at me, I should get feedback. I got that going on for me. I got the clean boost here. Pretty straightforward. Boost your signal, makes you a little bit louder. The Eventide is probably the most crazy, interesting thing on here. So, I use it, I was first interested in it because I was like, well, I did these crazy harmonies on that Lords of Abaddon song. They started out as these like vocal harmonies, and we were all like, it's not quite right. Let's do it on guitar. So I was like, well, how am I going to do that live? It's going to sound killer. We want to sound killer. So I dropped the coin on this thing, and I went in kicking and screaming, because how many knobs are on it? I was intimidated, you know? But it's been awesome. So I use it to recreate that for one. deep Slayer kind of harmonies. I also use it as sort of like a blue box, an MXR blue box, for, what the hell is the song called? She's an Anchor. We have nicknames for the song. Damn public radio. Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
At the end of the song We Win, I double tracked the guitar part an octave above, and when I do it live, I feel like the bottom end drops out. So I use this also as a 12-string effect. Let's go. Pretty great. And then finally, also on the She's an Anchor song, in the bridge, I use this as, it's not quite a chorus, but it's more of a, it doesn't modulate, it's a fixed sound. Check it out. That was the wrong note there.
Still sounds badass.
Huh?
Still sounds badass.
Pretty cool effect. And then the delay. I only use it on a couple songs, but I use it on. That's basically it, really. I wanted to point out a couple other things that have been like really valuable tools for me, but are not on my touring pedal board. And I'm not going to plug them in and play them because like I'm a guitar player. I'm not like a professional gear demonstrator. Obviously, after you've heard me talk and point out my gear and talk about my guitars. And I'm a firm believer in like I love to get on YouTube and watch the utilitarian demos, and I love the demos that Dave makes. But nothing really substitutes just like getting your hands in there and getting dirty. And most demos don't do that. Like I think mine certainly wouldn't, because I can't do it. That ain't my trick. So. What I have here, I have the MXR Blue Box. Use that on the record. It's awesome. It's a small pedal, and I would take it on tour and use it. But I can get an approximated sound of that out of the Eventide, and so I do that because it economizes my space. The Phase 90 is awesome, and I used to use it on almost all my leads, because duh.
My favorite all-time effect.
Yeah, it's amazing. This is the oldest pedal I own. This pedal is, which sounds ridiculous maybe to some of you, but I'm one of those guys that kind of goes through a lot of stuff. So. I've owned this pedal since the year 2000, so that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
11 years.
Yeah.
But and it sounds amazing, but literally everything has been replaced. Both jacks, all 3 knobs and the switch.
But the circuit is still the same,
Circuit's the same.
which is an original 808 tube screamer by the company that made the original.
Right. Yeah, I got that on tour with RB Danger.
Nice.
Which I needed it, and it still sounds killing. A buddy of mine, my buddy Chad Hamilton, built this for me.
In a real wood box?
Yeah, isn't that something? It's
That's-
like it's about the best looking pedal that I own.
That's super sweet.
It's just a treble booster, like a top booster, and he hand wired it. If I had a screwdriver, I'd take this off of you. His entire circuit is like just on a little piece of cardboard. He built me a fuzz pedal too. It's killer. It's got 1 knob. I love it. But his pedals are beautiful, and he's a good dude. He's my brother. Source Audio builds these crazy pedals, and again, it was like one of those things. I was like, oh, there's kind of a lot of knobs, and I'm intimidated. But once I got into it, I find it to be a lot easier than I think. I kind of have old man's mentality sometimes. What is this stuff? I can't do that. So I was attracted to this Trimod phaser because it's got basically like an envelope phaser. So set the threshold, and depending on your pick attack, the phase effect will come in harder, and it's amazing. I was going through like a Zappa trip, and I think he could get that sound out of an old Neutron phaser thing, but I want to spend $600 on a vintage phaser, however much I don't want to spend that much money on a phaser. And I have, you know what? I have an awesome stage phaser. I'll go grab and show you real quick too. That's got a funny story to it. This thing is amazing. The multi-wave distortion. Do yourself a favor and go to their website and look at the demos that they do, because again, I'm not a professional demonstrator. I'm going to show you the thing. That's what it looks like, and you can trust me or not, it sounds killer. It's probably the most flexible distortion pedal I've ever heard, and you can program it 3 different presets, so it does everything from like a super synthetic, like 9 Inch Nails distorted sound, to a very classic, overdriven, Marshall super lead or something. Incredible. This is the recovery sound destruction device. Greg Markle in town is a guy that I've known for 15 years. It's a long time to know somebody. I've known you longer than that, Dave. He builds these at home, and they're awesome. This is my newest pedal that I've gotten, and I want to work it into my pedal board and have it be a regular. I want it to reside there.
What cool store did you buy that from?
I bought that at Dead City Music. Ding! Enter jingle.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Watch the demo.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Again, I would not be able to give it its due. I only busted this thing out. I probably shouldn't have, but I only busted this thing out for one reason. It was a gift to me, and it was like, it's one of those things that I was like, I'm never plugging that thing in. But it's like, you're like, oh, that old thing.
Slash.
So
let me pan in on that.
That's
if I
pretty
can
cool.
focus.
To me, that's pretty cool.
Of course, we're not focused, but it says slash.
But this thing is probably like the first awesome, Leslie simulator that was actually like, you turn it on and it speeds up, you turn it off, it slows down. It's pretty rad. I got this. It cost me, my buddy's down at Trade Up Music in Portland. I bought it there. They gave me a killer deal. I think I got it for like $80 or $90. But you can see, this is amazing. Anyone who's done a lot of thrift store shopping, which I love junking and thrift store shopping, the grease pin, trademark, you know, oh, it came in on July 2nd. Let's price this at $9.99. Someone scored. You always hear about those stories like, yeah, I was in, you know, Tehachapi or, you know, wherever, Bemidji, and I went to the thrift store and I found a tweed champ or something. It's like, it was $6.99, $6.99. You don't hear about that anymore because, like, I think even everyone's grandparents are on Craigslist and eBay. It's hard to get those vintage scores anymore. But every once in a while, you get lucky, you know. Someone got lucky. I got not as lucky, but lucky. So, I mean, that's the gist of my whole deal. I have some other amps, but I'm not going to drag you into my messy studio room. And, you know, that's the deal. Get the hell out of my house, Dave. Come on.
Thanks, Mike.
Privacy, man.
Sorry, dude.
I don't normally have clothes on at home. Gross.
Talking to him.